Hey guys, this is Chesney Hawkes here. You are watching My Hammers 11 with the one and only Russ.
Hi everybody, Russ from the West Ham Network. Hope you're all safe and well, my friends. If you're new around here, give a like, give a comment, give a share, give a bloody good subscribe. Happy Tuesday. Obviously on the road to Anderlecht. On the road to Mandalay, on the road to Anderlecht. Safe travels for people going out there. I imagine tomorrow you'll be bombarded with Twitter and Insta posts of people in pubs in Stansted, and I'll be feeling very jealous. But anyway, safe travels. We'll have all the preview stuff. Even if not over there, you can experience the watch-alongs and previews and that type of stuff. Another My Hammers 11. People have asked, where have they been? We've had them for a while. We've had a few people on recently. And you know we got, because you've seen the title. Been trying to get this guy on for ages. He's bloody busy. If he's not he was in Africa, then he was doing a documentary about cryptocurrency. But we've managed to nab him for a night. He's put the kids to bed. He's put the boy to bed. Let's bring Ade in. How you doing, man?
Oi.
Hey!
Right, good to see you, Russ. And where'd you get that cheeky picture of me from? That was all right. I'm giving it.
Look at that. It's like, look at me. I know it. This is my team. Yeah. How you doing, man? You all right?
I am. I'm good. I was telling you before, just put my wife's putting the boy to bed now, but I mean, we're having a right struggle. He's 21 months old and he is he's a character. He's a character. That's all I can say. Man's got so much energy. It's a lot. He's a lot.
But that's the thing you want as your kid. That's one thing I'm saying with my daughter. You want them to have a character, and then when it goes the other way and goes against you, you know, it's like I've always said, I wanted my daughter to be sort of single-minded, determined, and da-da-da. And then when she has a row with me, and she actually makes sense in that row, I'm like,
Telling me you're getting outsmarted by a 10-year-old.
Exactly. And she's so similar to my mum. She's so similar to my wife that actually it's like a mirror, and they sort of, bash against each other, so to speak. And I'm in the middle, just like, anyway.
Yeah, they're ganging up on you. I tell you.
They always do. Nah, they're always ganging up on. Yeah, they're always ganging up on me. But anyway, how's apart from the family are well? I hope you're well, man.
Yeah, everyone's good, man. Yeah,
it's good. And West Ham hopefully, as we were just saying before we started, hopefully turning a corner this season now.
Yeah, you know what? I haven't caught. I didn't catch much of the early games, and I mean, I was going to watch them, and then I see the results. I see we're like down 1-0 here, 2-0 here. Saw the result against Chelsea, which sounded like it was a bit of an unfortunate one, bit of controversy with Jared Bowen as well in there. And I was just like, oh my days. We've had like sort of 2 seasons where I've actually felt quite comfortable and relaxed that we were going to get wins week in and week out. And then we started funny, but this weekend actually it was nice to watch because I don't think we played amazing, but we did what we needed to do to win. We got some chances and we were clinical. And I don't remember West Ham of the past being that clinical, and it was nice to see that. It's nice to see us. I want to see us playing well. I'd like to see us playing fantasy football. But if we have the odd game where we struggle, but we can go bish, bash, bosh and knock in 2 goals and win, I'll take that all day long.
Yeah, exactly. I think you need a few of those. You need a few of those ugly wins. But as you said, it's nice to have. I mean, I can't remember having someone like Skamaka playing for us who just seems he's like the missing piece of the puzzle. I think we've been crying out for like this full centre forward for years, really. Well, 3 years since we signed Haller, and he just seems to be. I don't know. He's just like. I mean, I just think. Give him feed Skamaka and he will score. And I think it's quite unusual for West Ham to have a focal point like that in recent years. We haven't had that for a long time, a consistent sort of striker, so to speak.
And I think you're right. Because Haller was interesting in terms of, he had that size and he was a focal point. He scores that amazing overhead kick, and then we get rid of him. But he wasn't mobile. And I think what I'm seeing with Skamaka is he has that mobility. You know what I mean? He feels to me like he can get up and down the pitch, and he can be a handful in the air. And he's got good control. And do you know what the Italians are? They're
Yeah.
very organized. They be disciplined. What you do worry about is the transition to the physical side of the Premiership. The Premiership it is physical. Different things are allowed by the referee, and the pace of the game can be really frenetic at times. And hopefully, he can make that transition quickly, because we haven't got time for someone to take us seasons to bed in.
No, we haven't. We haven't got time. Yeah, exactly. And particularly time is not our sort of friend at the moment. October is I think we've got 9 games in October. We've got obviously 2. We've got the double header, so to speak, in the Conference League as well. And as you said, I know you didn't get to many games at the sort of beginning of the season, but you've been a busy man. That's why you've been all over the bloody place.
I know it is. It's been a funny old year, but I've been doing loads of different bits and pieces, and got so much more coming up. I've set up my own business, my own production company now, so I'm going to be making my own stuff, and that's like taking my brain space as well. But you know what? I'm hammers through and through, so I've always got my eye on it, and I'm always planning with my mates. What games I'm going to get to. I think I'm probably going to get to a few more away games this season, just to tie in with when I'm traveling around the country as well, which is nice, because the away crowd, the West Ham away fans, they're pretty lively, and it's nice to be with them sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah, you're probably right. Actually, it makes perfect sense. As you said, if you're travelling around, we're all over the bloody place, aren't we? So, yeah, it's sometimes a bit easier than necessarily the home games. Same with one of the other guy I do West Ham with, the channel. He lives in Scotland, and so for him it's easier to go to the Newcastle games and sort of up north rather than coming down south every game. So
Yes. To come from Scotland down to the stadium.
It is. Yeah, he does it. Yeah, bless him, and he's got 3 kids as well. So he hasn't been down. He's got his little one's only a few months old, so he's newest. So he hasn't been down this. Has he been down this season? No, not yet. So, but no, it makes sense. It's easy for him to go. But his son is Freddie. He's just at that right age now. But he wants to go to football. So
what age would you say then, Russ? What age would you say is a good age?
Well, I think it depends. I think for you guys, I mean, as you said, for the home games and stuff, I think I think when do you remember your first game? When did you go?
My first game, I think it was. I mean, the thing is, for me, back in the 80s, West Ham was a bit of a naughty crowd to go to. It's intimidating. If you're young, if you're disabled, if you're black, it was like not as easy. But I do remember my mate and his dad. Took me to a reserve game, and that was I was probably about 12 or 13 for that. And that was good. That was good. And then my first proper game, I probably wasn't till I was about 14, 15. Yeah. But I reckon I could have, now the way the Premiership is, and the kind of it's a little bit more. It feels a little bit easier, more family friendly. An hour 8, maybe,
Yeah, no, I think so, and it's more accessible as well. So as I said, for yourself and obviously for the boy as well. But I mean, I've tried. I just can't get my daughter to. It's difficult because I'm working there as well, so it's difficult to try and do, like have her and then work and at the same time there. But I took her to a couple of the West Ham women games. That was a good start because that was at a Rush Green. Now they've moved to Dagenham Redbridge. So particularly and that's the thing. I was thinking about my first game the other day, and like I was probably about 12 or so. And I was in it was probably the most amount of people I've seen in one place, and you got to think for the little one as well, 60,000 people. It could be quite intimidating. Where maybe taking them to, as you said, a reserve team game or a women's game when there's probably a couple of thousand, just to sort of get them going, man. But the
reserve game was definitely a good way to get me into it, I think.
Yeah, definitely, and have you got how many? Has he got the kits? Has he got all the kits and stuff?
Do you know what? If you look on my Instagram, I had him in a kit from when he was probably, I think, about 4 or 5 months old, and we won that. I think we played Man United, or was it either Man United or Liverpool? That game was. It was Man United, and we beat them, and.
Yeah.
And he had his kit on, and I thought, yeah, this is a lucky omen. But I've never put his kit on again since, because I was just thinking I want it to be 100% run, when West Ham are playing. So I put the kit on when we're not playing, just so I can keep that. Like, he's 1-for-1 with West Ham.
Love it. I love it. I think because my daughter, she was due on the playoff final against Blackpool at Wembley, and
I went to that. I went to that game.
Well, that was her due date, and I had a really good ticket, so so I was doing some stuff with her with the Hammerhead or whatever it was. So I had like a beer in one hand and my phone in the other hand. It was like just about to kick off, and I think we had a PPI phone call. It was literally at 3:00. So I thought, oh, here we go. But then she was born a couple of days later, and I think within about a day, I had a picture of her in the playoff trophy. So
right.
she was like Harry Potter, like scarred. She was like scarred at such a young age.
Amazing.
I love it.
That'd be a great shot.
It was, yeah, it was good, mate. It was good. I remember I showed Carlton Cole it, and he was like, "Oh my God, you are crazy! You are such a it's just West Ham. That's what West Ham fans do, isn't it? It's like it's name after their kids and after players and stuff like that. It's amazing, amazing." Exactly. Question from Andy, quick. Hey, you're 49 years old, but you look early 30s. What's your secret?
Oh my days! I think I'll give that to my parents. Good genes, really lucky. My mum, she's in her mid to late 30s, and you wouldn't think so. She looks like she's in her 50s, 60s. Love so it. I'm really lucky with that, with the skin. My missus, who's a bit younger than me, she said to me, "If you looked your age, I never would have married you."
Well, that's sort of Peter Crouch, isn't it? What would you? When they asked him, what would you be if you weren't a footballer, single? It's like,
wow, talk about honesty there.
Oh, fair enough, love. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Although my wife told me today that she might have a thing for Noel Fielding. We were watching Bake Off, and she's always I quite like him. I was like, I'm nothing like Noel Fielding. She was like, yeah, that's probably why I like him. But anyway, cheers, love. Thanks, mate. So in terms of being away, we spoke about obviously your first game a bit. We spoke about the West Ham stuff. How did it start being a West Ham fan? Why West Ham, man?
Good question. Let me just.
Oh, he needs the water. That's it.
Quick to tell this story. So, I grew up in Plaistow, literally 3-4 roads away from the bowling ground from Upton Park. Went to school in Upton Park, but all my mates at school, everyone at school supported West Ham. It was a massive West Ham supporting area, and me being me, I wanted to be different. So I was like, I'm going to be different from everyone else. How I thought that when I'm only like 6 or 7 years old. But, I developed this individuality back then. And I said, I'm going to be Arsenal. I'm an Arsenal fan. And so I had everyone like booing me at school and like, oh, Arsenal, a goon or whatever, this and that. And then 1980, FA Cup final, my road there's having a street party. There's like bunting everywhere. Everyone's out on the streets. We win. Amazing, like win, Brook in goal and all of that. And then my next door neighbour, who was a little bit older than me, his mum told him to like take me to the Barking Road to watch West Ham in the open top bus. So he took me to the Barking Road. 7 years old, hundreds, if not thousands of people on the Barking Road. Bus comes past, all the players up there, just the atmosphere, the bubbles, the stuff. What could I do? no way I wasn't going to become a West Ham fan after that. It was just such an incredible, joyous moment. Nobody told me that it was going to be like 40 years of.
That was the pinnacle. Yeah, that was the pinnacle.
That was about as good as it's going to get. I didn't enjoy that, apart from, of course, the season when we come third with McAvenny and Cotty.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, yeah, that was incredible. I still remember it now. All the street parties, the bubble machines, all the West Ham footballs out on the streets. It was wonderful. The East End of London was just bouncing. It was rocking that year.
Amazing. Yeah, it's funny. We've interviewed lots of people, and it's funny how like those major events like the FA Cup have an impact on what football club people support and at an early age. I mean, we interviewed the Ryder Cup captain Paul McGinley. Northern Ireland, so, and I was like, why West Ham? And his story is brilliant because he said, it was the 75 FA Cup final, and they were he lived in a small Northern Irish village. You could just imagine it, sort of chocolate box type thing.
Yeah.
And they all had, and one of them in the village had a colour TV. So everyone in the village went to the colour TV and watched the FA Cup final, and it was obviously West Ham versus Fulham. But Fulham were in black and white, and he'd seen black and white, but this claret and blue was like, oh my god! And that's it. From then on, that's it. He's always been like, he's been West Ham through and through, and that's just, I love those stories.
Those amazing things, and the thing is, like when you're a child, these things are magnified, and I think one of the things, a lesson that we should all learn is to try and keep that childlike sense of wonderment.
Definitely.
How many things when you're a kid just felt so amazing to you, and as you get older, you get a little bit more cynical and a bit more wizened and stuff like that. And I still go back and get those memories and savor those memories and just cherish them, because I think they keep you going, they invigorate you, and you can then pass them on to your that passion onto your kids and onto the next generation.
Totally, man. It's true, and I think we've to be fair, over the last probably 20 years maybe, we haven't had many opportunities to do that, from West Ham. So, obviously last year we had the Sevilla game, and there was like the Liverpool at home where we won, and there's we're starting to, at London Stadium, create these memories that we had at the bowling. And it's, as you said, it's about memories. It's about that. I love that fact, child wonderment. That's exactly, I think that's what pisses my wife off about me sometimes, because my daughter turned around to yesterday. That was why this is becoming a slanging match about me, but she said, why is Daddy just so happy all the time? Because it's like, what's the point? I can,
My dad used to say to me, I'll do it in his accent, but he used to go, God rest his soul, he was like, you know your problem. You think every day is Christmas. That's your problem. Like, Dad, you got to have it. You got to have it every day. It's what it's all about, Oh,
innit?
I mean, we only live once. We've got to make the most of it.
Totally right, man. What schools did you attend in Plaistow? We've got a few Plaistow people in house, it looks like.
I went to my first school. So if anyone's my age, I'm 49. So early 80s, I went to a school called Creedon Primary School, which was in Upton Park. That got shut down, and then they amalgamated us with another school in Greengate, which was Greengate School, and moved us to Southern Road. So I went to Southern Road School, which was opposite the Southern Road Fields, and then we went to Lister School, community school it was called then, and good times, memories, good funny memories of football in goal and on my crutches, and those are the days, man. Those were the days, playing till all hours. My parents going absolutely bonkers, not knowing where I was, because I was out playing football till it was dark with my mates, playing Wembley and all of that stuff. It was, they were great. Yeah,
great days, man. Great days. And it's one of those things, isn't it? It's like sort of nostalgic sort of time. It's like you would, like nowadays, like when your boy's old enough to go out and you're not. You're coming over this time. You'd be on the phone. You'd have them tracked all the time, all the way home.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be that parent, you know what I mean, that's stressed out. But I think it's probably a punishment to me because I was an absolute nightmare for my parents. I was an absolute nightmare. I was the wildest, craziest kid, climbing out of windows, running away, going off to all sorts of places, having adventures, not coming back till all times at night, you know, playing football. And then when it got to basketball, I was off playing basketball, traveling around, not telling anyone what's going on, and like thinking, yeah, this is it, you know, this is me, this is wild, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to live my life. And now my son, like, I'm looking at him, I'm thinking, he's going to be me, isn't he? This is going to be, I'm going to be like this for the next 10 years. I'm just going to be
Mate, I know it's the same. It's the same with my daughter. It's like, you know, she's really into like her music or theatre and all this type of stuff. And my wife isn't. She's not like, you know, so she's not. I mean, I like, you know, I used to be a bit of. I used to do a bit of acting. So she was the same. So I'm sort of living my life through her now, and it's the same. It's like, I just like, you know, when she does a singing, I live through it. So if she does really well, I think I've done really well. So I'm like, yeah, well done, Russ. Well done. You nailed that solo. You nailed it.
I'm in that position when I'm thinking, like, so my missus is a singer. She's a musician, a songwriter, and I'm obviously with my sporting background, and so, you know, like he plays the piano. He likes the music. He's got a drum kit already.
Yeah.
He's proper into his music. When the music comes on, he's bouncing his head. But I've also got basketballs all over the house, footballs, tennis racket, and he's playing with them as well. And like, I'm just like, I don't want to be that pushy parent.
Yeah.
That's like, right, you must do this, you must do that. I want to just sort of sit back, right, and like allow him to do what he wants and enjoy what he wants. But the other day, so he plays football. There's a little football club, and he started playing when he was 18 months. And I got sent a video of him. Like, when he first started, he was terrible. He just kept picking the ball up. You know, I'm like, he's been watching me play basketball so much, so he's picking the ball up all the time. And now he started kicking the ball, and then they've got him rolling the ball on under his foot. And they've got sent a video, and I looked at it today, and I was almost in tears. I'm like, he's rolling the ball, he's rolling it, he's got skills. It's amazing.
It's got techers.
He's got
techers.
techers.
Do you know what? I love this. I love these shows because they just go one way. I've got a video on my phone from my daughter when she used to do little kickers, and she must have been 2, and it's her just dribbling around this like, you know, school hall on a Sunday, and I was thinking, because she was so good. She loved it, and then she obviously realised it was football, and then she discovered YouTube and makeup and stuff, and then football's out the window at the moment. Right, a non West Ham related question. What's your NBA team? Anton asks. So Anton's the other guy I do the channel with. Okay. So big basketball fan as well.
Yeah, good, really, really good question. So when I first got into basketball, I got given an LA Lake. Actually, I didn't get given. I bought it with my pocket money. I bought an LA Lakers basketball from Queen's Market, and I remember like taking it home. The colors were amazing and loving it, and being into Magic Johnson and the NBA of the 80s. That they were really incredible. But then when it got to the 90s, and I started to like sort of really, really properly watch and understand basketball. I had this massive affinity with New York. I always wanted to like go to New York and be there. So I became a New York Knicks fan. But I soon realized that becoming a New York Knicks fan is like just swapping, right, and one hurt to another. It's like going from West Ham to New York. Like the last time New York Knicks won the NBA title was the year I was born, 1973. You know what I mean? So it was just like, year after year, I just watched New York. I mean, we got that close, losing to Houston Rockets one year, and then just every year getting battered by Michael Jordan's Chicago Bulls. So now, I mean, it's not that I've left New York, but now I'm kind of more a fan of the players, and so I follow players, and I'm really a big fan of Giannis Antetokounmpo, who plays for Milwaukee Bucks. His story is just so incredible, and you know, he's just an unbelievable athlete, unbelievable to watch, just what he can do. And then to win the NBA title, he won it like, I think it was 2 seasons ago. And his story is incredible. He was selling like trinkets on the streets of Athens. You know, he came over as an immigrant with his family, selling trinkets on the streets of Athens 10 years ago. And in 10 years later, he's one of the highest paid players in the NBA, one of the best players in the world, if not the best player in the world on his day, and he's NBA champion. So yeah,
Wow.
I love those stories, and you only get them in American sport. You know, it's just incredible, those fairy tales.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I think it's because maybe the way sort of British in terms of football, particularly the younger players, they're associated with the club at such a young age. So they're in that sort of bubble already. Whereas you're right, sort of those particularly as you did the NBA, or sometimes you get a nice NFL story with certain players, and obviously you get that now because they do sort of the All or Nothing series on Amazon, so you can really understand the players and where the players come from. But I always was a Brooklyn. I used to like the Nets because I used to go there every year to like we had a conference in Brooklyn, so I always used to go. They always used to play every time I turned up.
So you're recent because they used to be the New Jersey Nets, and then like when I think Jay-Z bought them or got involved with them, and then they moved to Brooklyn and they become the Brooklyn Nets. And yeah, they're a really cool and quite a fashionable team, you know, to sport. And Brooklyn is like the place to be now when you're over in New York, and their arena is incredible. I haven't been in it, but I've been past it a lot of times, and I'm just like, yeah, that's pretty tasty, you know. That is a pretty tasty.
And it's always so cheap as well, because it's like you can get a decent ticket or a ticket for like $3 or $4. It's like, well, I used to be able to. I don't know about nowadays.
Oh no, it's still relatively cheap. I mean, I remember the first NBA game I went to was actually the Orlando Magic game, and I went back when Shaquille O'Neal and Penny Hardaway were playing. And I remember we went there, and a friend of mine organized tickets for us, and it was like saying like $20.
Yeah.
But there was an issue with him getting tickets for us, so we he couldn't get to us at the right time, so we were waiting at the door to try and get in at the entrance, and because he couldn't get to us in time, we were going to miss tip-off, and I was desperate to see tip-off because it's my first game. So I've like said to my mate, as East London star, I'm like, look, we've got to get in. So me and my mate Charles, we sort of like snuck in. I mean, we snuck in an NBA game with all their security, and we managed to get in. And we're in the arena waiting for my mate to come around with his tickets. And the security have come looking for us. And every time they've come looking for us, we kept moving around the arena, right, for people to see. And obviously they don't want to make a big scene, so they're like sort of like trying to do it discreetly. And in the end, because we were going round and round in circles, they sent someone round in the opposite direction to get us, and then we got cornered. And then eventually they found out we had tickets. But that was my experience. I mean, it was only $20 though to watch a game, which is nothing, you know.
It's crazy, isn't it? But it's always cheap. We used to, in America, just sport is cheap. You know, you got the baseball's really cheap, and and if you go and see, even the MLS was really cheap when I used to go out there as well. It's just,
it's a mad sort of like entertain. It's just like frenetic. You can't take your eyes off, because when the sport isn't on, they've got people jumping about, dunking, acrobatic. You've got the mascots coming on. You've got the cheerleaders coming on, and they're trying to sell you everything. You know what I mean? Popcorn, burgers. It's crazy. It's an event, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I remember the best one. I think we went to see the Mets play at whatever park. I can't remember what their thing is there in the baseball. When literally everyone was there. They had the the national anthem. Everyone stood up. First ball was pitched. They all just then fucked off and went and got something to eat. And I was like this with the national anthem, and then I was like, I had a whole row to myself. I was like, okay, there we go.
Do you want to hear my maddest, my best NBA story?
Go on then.
It happened in East London. So back when the London Leopards were playing at the London Arena, they had it over at the Docklands Arena. We went, and Magic Johnson had just been diagnosed with HIV, so he had to retire from the NBA, and he went on this world tour. So he picked all of these best like players that he wanted to play with, and then went on this world tour for his sort. It was like his testimonial, but traveling around the world.
Yeah.
So he comes and he plays. They play the London Leopards, and me and my mates, we got tickets and we went and watched it. Amazing. See Magic Johnson making shots from the halfway line, passing the ball behind his back, for his legs, just doing all. It was proper showtime. And we were just like blown away. We're like in East London, seeing this absolute god flying up and down the court. And then at the end of the game, I said to my mates, got to go and see him. We've got to go and meet him. And so we shoot off and we find where they're having a press conference. There's a load of security there. And I'm like, right, we're getting in. And we just rush past the security. And the security's looking at us. It's like 4 of us in wheelchairs, and they're like, what do we do? Do we have a bundle with a load of guys in wheelchairs? What good look is it really? It's not a really good look. So they let us in, shoot past. And like we were in the back of the room, and there's all the press there. There's Sky Sports there. There's BBC there. There's world press. There's like loads and loads of like press there. Magic Johnson comes in the room, and obviously he's tall. He's like 6'9", 6'8", 6'9". So he's taller than everyone. And all the press, the cameras turn on him, taking pictures, and they go, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Johnson. And then he goes, hold on a sec. I just want to speak to my friends over there. And like, we look behind us, and like, is he talking about us? And then like, all the press stop, turn around, see us, and then he comes over to us, and he spends like 20 minutes chatting to us. It was just amazing,
man.
Amazing. And one of my mates said, I know you're not well and you've got HIV, but I hope you live a long time. We really love you, Magic. And he just burst into tears in front of it. It was incredible. It was such an incredible moment.
I've got a similar story to me and Paul Kitson. No, I haven't, but I have.
He's a legend.
Yeah, me and Paul Kitson in Woolworths chatting about pick and mix. Yeah, anyway. Love it. Oh God, Siri's turned on. Right. Let's get some more questions, then we'll talk about Yammers 11. Right, okay. What we got here? Right, I'm not joking. We've had about 20 questions about you getting married in St Paul's Cathedral. How did you wangle that?
Oh my days! Yeah. So it's quite a funny one, that is. So when I proposed to my missus, she's proper, like she was proper on it. She's like, right, we've got to start planning this. We've got to plan this properly. We've got to look at the venues. And this is like 2 years out. And she started making this list of venues, all these places, getting really organised. I'm thinking it's 2 years away. It's a proper long time. What's that all about? And then I just thought, you know what? I said, let me just throw this in. I said, I've got an MBE, and I've heard when you get an MBE, you could get married in St Paul's Cathedral. I just said it as a laugh, and her ears just went ping. It's like, that's it, we're getting married in St Paul's. Like, yeah, what? Seriously? Like, let's get it organised. And before I know it, she was like finding out how it's done, getting all the letters, and I wasn't quite sure whether it was true or not.
Yeah.
And she found out, and it was proper, it was correct, and we went through all the protocol. But what was really mad about it is the fact that when us normal people, everyday people, get married in St Paul's Cathedral, you get married in the crypt down below. Yeah. And I don't know if you've ever been to the crypt down below. It's all right. It's a bit airy, it's a bit dark, and you've got like all these tombs and coffins of like legends, Christopher Wren and all these people who are like buried down there. But it's not that glamorous part of St Paul's Cathedral, but it's still an honour. Yeah. And you have to get a lift to go down there. So a week before we were due to get married, we get a call from the vicar, and he's like, little issue, but the lift's broken down. But we'll get that fixed, and we'll guarantee on the day we'll have workmen on there to make sure it's all right. So you and all your guests, because a few of my mates were coming from my basketball team in wheelchairs, so they would need the lift as well. And so I was like, okay, it's fine. And then he calls back 3 days before the wedding, and he goes, look, I've just had this thought. And he said, it would just be, I would be absolutely horrified if on the day you were going down to get married and you got stuck in the lift, it broke and everything like that, and said, so we are going to allow you to get married upstairs in the main hall. And I think the last people who got married there was Charles and Di.
Yeah.
So we get married upstairs in the main hall.
Wow.
Going in for the rehearsal, bringing on all the guests for the rehearsal. Like the hairs on the back of my neck was standing up. I was like, my stomach was just going all over the place. And then when all my friends and family came on that day, I was just like, I remember hugging them and crying. And my mate was like, how does someone born in Lagos, grew up in Plaistow, East London, end up getting married here? Look at this place. What's happened? It was just, it was bonkers. Absolutely bonkers, and still like the greatest day of my life. It was such a beautiful day. All of my best mates, my family, all the people that you want and love to be there and in this special place. I mean, I grew up in Plaistow. What am I doing getting married in St Paul's Cathedral? It's nuts.
Oh man, awesome. That's awesome, man. I think I got married in the same venue as Jay Goody got married.
Where was that?
Down hall. Not quite as regal, but yeah, the best day of my life as well.
Exactly. It's not about the venue, it's about who you're married to. Come on, Russ.
You're totally right. And although all I asked was, I said, right, you can get what you want to do this, I want to pick the colour scheme. And then literally the colour went out of my wife or wife to be's face, and she went, claret and blue, innit? Fucking right. Yeah, bless it.
I would have got divorced if I tried to do that.
Yeah. Right, let's get some more questions. I'm liking it. Question from Gatesy. Which West Ham player is the player you rated but all your mates said was crap? Oh.
Wow.
Good question, Gates.
Oh my days.
Who was your favourite player growing up then, Abe?
Growing up, for West Ham, probably either Devonshire or else when I was younger, Tony Cottee, and Frank McAvenny, because that season we were just absolutely smashing it. But there's going to be someone that I'm gonna really kick myself who I like really thought was just like an absolute legend.
Who did I think was a legend and was crap? I don't think. I mean, for me, I was never like
the players I was saying there. They weren't crap. They were great.
No, they weren't. That's what I mean. I think they were good players, but there must be. I was always like I always used. TT Kamara was always one. No, I am. Who was one? I was quite like. I'm always, because I think I was like a sort of a bit of a defender, sort of like midfield, CDM. Not David Batty type play. Sort of like. So I was used to like the Hayden Mullins and Pete Butlers and people of that ilk. Who weren't necessarily the ones who were getting the headlines. They were the ones who were. But if they weren't in the team, you didn't know why the team wasn't functioning as well, because it's that that was my sort of ilk. I used to like all them type of players.
The hard workers as well. To be fair, I probably just gravitated to the stars.
Glory Hunter. Yeah,
a little bit. Good question, though. Good question.
Good question.
I'm going to properly think about that. If I remember, I will post it on like Insta or Twitter.
There we go. Yeah. Funny story about someone who forgets someone. I interviewed David James, and we had David James on, and he was brilliant. We had a lovely time. He's a top boy, that is JMO, and we did it. He did his Miami's 11. Off it went. We did it. Brilliant, no problem. The day later, he was doing some stuff at the club. And a few of the other guys who I've had, he said, I was on Rusty's thing the other day. They asked what his 11 was. He went through his 11, and they went, "Didn't you play with Paolo Di Canio?" He went, "Fuck." Do you know what I did? And Jay, then I got a text going, "I didn't put Di Canio in, did I?" And I was like, "No, I did." I thought it was a bit weird, J-Mo, to be honest, at the time. But I was like, "Okay, we'll just let that go, let that fly."
Private beef there, or so. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, okay. I didn't bring it up in case, as you said, they may have had a falling out post getting together. But no, it's good, man. What we got? Have you ever met someone through your media career who caused you to be completely starstruck?
Well, yeah. I mean, I mentioned Magic Johnson.
Yeah,
Definitely one of those. Oh my, it's because I've got baby brain, but there are definitely people. Recently, I tell you what it is. Recently, so do you watch? Have you ever watched the Umbrella Academy on Netflix?
yeah.
I can't even remember his name now, but the big guy who was like turned into a monkey, right?
I know you mean, yeah.
Yeah. So I was in. We got invited to the opening of the Lego shop in Leicester Square.
Nice.
Brought my son along. He's now an addict to Lego, which is going to cost us an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
But we're in there, and it's all about him. He's playing with the Lego and stuff like that. And this guy comes in, and I literally almost drop him on the floor. And I'm like, oh my god, Scott from the Umbrella Academy. It's like, and I was like, I was just all stumbly and starstruck, and like went over and like just did that thing where you just stare at the person. Yeah. And you know what the funny thing is? He did exactly the same to me. He was like, "Oh my god, it's you!" and asked me for a selfie. And so we were both fanboying.
I love it.
And whilst my son was off, probably doing something dangerous with Lego over in the
kingdom. Probably putting it somewhere he shouldn't be. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
I remember once we was in I think we was in Oxford Circus doing, I was having a drink with my wife and her friend, and Alan Hansen walked past and went, "Hello, mate." Like he knew me. Like, all right, how you doing, mate? Yeah, I'm all right. No idea. She was like, "How does he know you?" No idea. No idea. Must think I'm someone else. But yeah, no, it's funny when it happens. So yeah,
I actually bumped into I don't know him, but I saw it was staying at the same hotel as Marcel Desailly once in Paris, and I kind of made a bit of a fool of myself, going up to him and sort of fanboying him and stuff like that. And he was proper quite French and quite cool and stuff like that. But I was like, "Oh yes, it's Marcel Desailly." It's like I was like. Yeah, I was doing all those things that I'm like, when anyone does it to me, I'm like, "Oh, this is so weird." I was like, "You're you," and he was probably like looking at me going, "Yeah, of course I'm me." Come on, son. Yeah.
We did. What was it? Oh, I love these shows. I just talk about any old thing. We was on holiday in Dubai, and obviously it's where it was during. I mean, Flo's birthday is always over May half term, so basically the season's finished. So it's full of footballers. It always is. And my wife went, "Oh, you haven't seen anyone. You haven't seen anyone you know, any footballers today." Well, and I was on my Sun Lounge and look up. I mean, "That's Neymar and Roberto Carlos." I went back to sleep and I was like, "What?" And then literally 10 minutes later, Flo's playing football with Neymar's kids. And I was like, "Oh my," this is like, like dads around the outside, like, "Oh, I've got this, here we go." So I was like, it's me between dang. I was like, and I love Carlos. I loved him. So I got a picture of him, but yeah, I love it, man. That's the only time I've been properly starstruck.
It's actually starting to come back to me as well now. So when we went on our honeymoon, we stayed in Lake Como in Italy.
Oh, beautiful.
And in the room below us was Ronaldo. And I was like, "Whoa!" And I kept saying, it's Ronaldo. And she's like, what is it? Because she's not that bothered about football. And she's like, "Just get back, embarrassing yourself." And I like from then on, I just did everything on the balcony so I could just peer over and just like "Hi, Ronaldo." Yeah. And I'm sure he was playing like Minecraft or something on his phone or whatever. I was like, "What, Ronaldo's on the field. I was like, oh, go on, Ronaldo.
Trying to find his username, see if he can jump on a game. Hello, mate. Yeah.
And
I love it, man.
the other one, which I was, there was two others. Michael Jordan, I interviewed him.
Wow.
And I just about kept it together interviewing Michael Jordan. I met Muhammad Ali on his birthday when he came to London, and I made no sense. I could not say a single word. I was just like so nervous and so like this. I mean, he's a legend, such a legend.
Yeah,
so, he's speechless. Yeah,
we had. I'm just because I thought I'd bring it back to West Ham. I remember we interviewed. I went to one of these ex-player nights, and Julian Dix was there, and I'd interviewed him before. But I said I needed a picture, and I was with Flo, and I said, "Come on, Flo, I need to go and I wanted to need a picture with Julian." And she was like, "Who's this guy? Who?" And I was like, "Oh my god, this Julian Dix is like." And anyway, Julian was with Mark Ward, and Wardy's had his knee replaced, and so he was like holding his knee, and Flo had fallen over at school. So there I am taking a picture of me and Julian, turn back around, and Flo's saying to Mark Ward, "Did you fall over at school as well?" And he went, yeah, I did, yeah, kinda. But brilliant. And I love all those old.
Mention Wardy, actually, he was a great player when I was growing up watching him. Yeah, he was pretty amazing. Wardy, what a legend.
What a terrier down that ring.
Yeah, just up and down that pitch. This is funny actually, because also someone who I met was Starstruck. I mean, he's a recent West Ham player, recent-ish. But I was working on the England game on Monday, England-Germany, and he was doing some stuff for Channel 4. It was Joe Cole, and I never met Joe Cole before, and I see him for the first time. And I was almost going to go up and hug him, like, "Yeah, right, Chad." And then I
know him, yeah.
I had to refrain and just hold myself back and stuff like that. But yeah, I was quite starstruck at seeing Joe Cole there. Yeah, it was good. That was good.
Yeah. I think it's when there's players that you see around the era you really got into football. I think it's like music. The type of music you're really into is probably around sort of your early teenage years, the sort of formative years. And I think it's the same with football. So for me, I get more. For me, I've met lots of obviously players doing this type of thing, but I get more excited interviewing people like Trevor Morley and Ian Bishop and Monks and people like that, rather than maybe older players, because I didn't have that sort of personal connection with. I love it. No, it's Joe Cole. Yeah. Oh dear. I'm working on him. He'll come on eventually. Right. We'll get him on. He'll come on eventually. We'll get him all on. I was hoping to get Nobes on, but that's not going to happen now because he's got a job back at the club now, so that's not going to happen now. But anyway,
he can do more than one thing at once, can't he? Come on,
he's a sporting director now. We will be in January. He'll be looking after everything else. He'll be juggling all the other pies in terms of all the other plates in terms of the recruitment and the teams and I don't know what he's doing, but no, it's great to see him back. Nobes, he's a modern day legend, isn't it? Really. Right, let's talk about your 11. So the whole thing of this show, the whole premise of this show, 48 minutes in, is to put together your 11. So obviously you said from the early 80s right up till now, the idea is we pick a 4-4-2 usually, or we can choose whatever you want. I'm not fussed really. But it's players that you've been around to see play. So myself and you couldn't put like Bobby Moorings. We never saw him play. Otherwise it'd be quite boring. We've done literally hundreds of these from people who have been fans for a year to people who've been fans for 60 years. It's really good fun. It's just a laugh. That's all it is. Okay. So who would in terms of your 11, who would be between the sticks? There's a lot of good goalkeepers you've seen over your time.
There was really
a lot of bad ones as well.
No, I mean we've got legends, Parksy and Ludo, Cosco. I think recently Adrian was pretty decent for us, and Fabianski is pretty cool as well. Shaka Hislop, he was
love Shaka.
He was pretty decent for us as well back in the day. But I'm going to go for someone you mentioned already. I think David James. I thought like he probably slightly underrated, but I thought he had so many clean sheets. I think he's got the record for clean sheets. Actually got beaten by Petr Cech, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But he's on his day, David James was a fabulous goalkeeper. Commanding in the box. And he was. I enjoyed watching when James played as well.
Yeah, and he was England goalkeeper for when he was at West
exactly.
Ham as well at the time. So, yeah, and he managed to get us, relegated with 40 points.
There was a lot of circumstances. That was a decent team. So it wasn't just James there. That was a team which you wouldn't believe would
It's true. We had we was talking the other day. We had Hutch on, and we was talking about that team with 42 points, and he never understood that either. He's like, and everyone else, because he was injured, so he was injured during that time as well, so he couldn't really play as much, and he was like, I just didn't get it. Nothing had changed.
I went to most of those games that season. It was horrible.
It was, wasn't it?
It was stressful. That's what it was. It was stressful.
Yeah, and it was where the season before, obviously, we finished like 7th, didn't we? I think that season before, or something like that. It was a really good, okay season, and it was like we thought it was going to be more of the same, and
it was a right anomaly. But it was also that it was a shock, but it's also that thing, when you drop out the Premiership, there's always that fear of you might never get back.
Yeah.
You might do a Leeds United and take like 15 years to get back or so.
Oh god, we never really did that, thank God, did we? It was always maybe 1 or 2 years, and then we were back. If we didn't go up the first time, it would take us a couple of years, and we go back. And obviously, we had I remember, because we went down, didn't we? Then we had that bloody season when we had bloody Crystal Palace in the playoff final and lost to them. Oh, remember that? I still never play. When I used to do DJing when I used to do it from like friends and family, and someone would ask if we could play, Glad All Over, I'd refuse to play it just because I've just got this vision of bloody Neil Shipley and this sea of yellow. They're all wearing their away shirts, singing Glad All Over. I can't stand that song.
Yeah, I'm just grateful that the only playoff game that I went to watch live was when we beat Blackpool in the final. Do you know what I mean?
And that wasn't easy, that game, was it? It should have been a lot easier.
Didn't they? They went 1-0 up. Was it Ince who scored it?
Had to be, didn't it?
Who scored it? And then, God, that was it Boa Morte who scored the winner for us?
No, Vaste scored the... Yeah.
It was Vaste. God, I was behind the goal when he scored.
Oh my God, I was behind the goal as well. We were probably literally next to each other. I was literally behind the goal, front row.
What a game! What
a game! And then my daughter was born, which was the best day of my life. Okay. Right, let's go left back. Who are we going to put left back? Ade?
So I'm going for a 3-5-2 actually.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah.
So on the left side, I'm going to put Cresswell.
Nice, Aaron. Yeah.
I think he's got good delivery. He's reliable. He's got a good engine. And he's got that decent balance of attack but he's sensible. He will come back and he will help as well. Although in that system, I don't think it'd be nice to have him up, but with our midfielders that I've got in there, I think we'll be fine as well. He'll be a luxury backup.
Yeah, and I think that's his position now, isn't it? At the back, that 3 at the back. He plays on that left side really well, doesn't he? Chris, good old Chrissy. 302 appearances for the club
already.
A long time he's been at the club without really sort of. Yeah, he's I think it's 9 seasons now, something like that. So fair play. Yeah, amazing player. Right, I'll put Cressy in. Who's the next one? Who's going to be next?
I'll put Rio Ferdinand.
Nice. Rio Ferdinand. What? Yeah, I like that. He wasn't he?
His quality on the ball. He was like one of those one of the first sort of crop of defenders that you really felt they were comfortable if they had the ball at their feet. and they can bring it up, and you want that in the 3-5-2 as well. You want defenders who are going to like get the ball back into your midfield quickly rather than just lump it back up there.
Totally agree, man. Totally agree. And I think we've got, and now with the new sort of summer signings, we've got, one of them is in terms of Nea Faged, he will be that person, but he's just bloody injured. But anyway, I think in terms of that player, just be able to.
Was he wearing the boot? Did he have a special boot on the weekend?
He's had his boot on. But I think, but he's, as Moisey calls it, he's on the grass.
Good.
So he's on the grass, but he does have a World Cup because Morocco are in the World Cup as well. So I'm sure he'll try and he's trying to get ready for that. Right, we got Cresswell, we got Rio. Who's next in this three?
I'm putting Zuma in. I think he's going to be. I mean, he's aggressive. He wins balls. I think he's one of those defenders that when he's playing well, he's gonna be reliable. He could be a wall as well. So yeah, I like Zuma.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I think eventually, I think because obviously he didn't, at the beginning of the season didn't really get going, and then he sort of the last sort of 3 or 4 games particularly seems to be getting back in his stride, and with Dawson next to him as well, I think that's sort of where I thought Zuma always got the best out of the person he's playing against. I think actually it's Dawson gets the best out of the player he's playing against and playing with, and I think with Zuma as well, he seems to be getting back to, although he's always hobbling, he hobbles a lot. Do you know what I mean?
There's certain people like that who've got that natural affinity. Anything that touches them, they're like, oh no,
all my knees.
It's fine. It's a continental players. That's how they do it now.
Yeah, you're right. It's almost like, I'll carry on. That's all right. Don't worry. I'll carry on. Oh, you are such a warrior.
Watch a few games in Italy, and you'll be used to it. I mean, they should all have a blue badge the way they're hobbling around.
Love it. All right, so we've got J-Mo, we've got Cress, we've got Rio, we've got Zuma. Who's next? Who we got next?
So I'm gonna have I'm putting Declan Rice in there. I'm putting Rice in our midfield. Nice. Just like in front of their defence. Rice,
top player, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. I love him. I think he's just quality. What I really like about him is how much he's matured, because a couple of seasons ago he used to make quite a few rash tackles and he'd give away free kicks in dangerous places, but he's now, you can see he's refined his tackling, and he's sort of like learned how to intercept and know when it's time to put the foot in or when it's time to like get that neat interception. And he's got a great engine, and I think there's more to come, because I really feel once he's unleashed and he gets his proper confidence, he'll be a proper box-to-box player.
Yeah. It's nice to see his progression. I remember seeing him when he was playing in under 23s, and he was a standout. He wasn't, he was a good defender, not necessarily a phenomenal defender, but he was standing out because he had that sort of charisma, that sort of captain's, which is you can't choose, you can't train, you can't coach that really. And then you saw him play sort of a CDM role, and now he's progressing into this sort of box to box. Yeah, stunning, and obviously club captain as well now. So, which is great. Right, we got Dex in. Who's next?
I'm putting Joe Cole.
Got to put Joe Cole in.
I'm putting Joe Cole, man. Some of the techers that boy used to put on. Oh. I mean, the level of techers and the people that he'd put on toast, on his day when he was playing at West Ham, it was lovely. I watched so many games, always looking forward to a nice little trick or skill from Joe Cole. Do you know what I mean?
Phenomenal player, isn't he? And again, and obviously, academy boy as well. We love an academy boy, don't we? Coming through the ranks, and we was talking about kids. We knew about him when he was like 11. Yes. You know what I mean? He's like this special boy, and he's a fantastic player. Love him, love old Joe.
So this might be a bit controversial, but look, when he was at West Ham, I thought he was great for us. He moved on, and there was a little bit of controversy as he moved on. But I think Frank Lampard Jr. I think he's I think having him and Ricey in there, that what an incredible heart of your midfield. Having Joe Coles on one of the wings. Yeah, I think it'd be that's tasty to me.
Very tasty, very tasty. Yeah. Him and Rice would be that would have been because obviously then he never the old Frank Lampard and Steven Gerrard never clicked, but Declan Rice and Frank Lampard I think would have clicked quite nicely as a duo. Yeah. Oh, Frank
Rice and Lampy. Sounds like a curry, innit? Or saying
it does. It does sound like an order. Like it's like a sort of a rather than say the whole name of the dish, rice and lamb. It might be lamb. I'll have a rice and lamb, please. Nice one, please. Cheers, John. Right, so we got Carl. Who's next?
So on the wing, and I think I can have it. He's going to be quite fluid. He can move forward and stuff. He didn't play for us for that long, but when I watched him play, some of the games, some of the things he did was incredible. That's Dimitri Payet.
Yeah,
I mean, flipping now that geezer. I mean, the techers. It was incredible. There was a goal he scored. I think it was against City when he dribbled past about 3 players. At the Olympic Stadium and then knocked it in. We got battered in that game, but his goal was special. And as a dead ball specialist, free kick specialist, he's pretty serious as well.
Good player, yeah. And I think it's come to a period now where we sort of like appreciate him now. Obviously, there was the whole sort of snake incident, people call him a snake, and I think after a while we would never have had that season we had at the Bowling if it wasn't for Dimitri Payet in terms of just what he brought.
I'm just like looking at them. I'm taking away like personality and all the controversy, and I'm looking at it for pure talent. And I think he has to be in there.
Oh, he was definitely probably the most one of the most talented players. I'd say he's probably the most skillful player I think I've seen at West Ham for natural.
Insane, isn't it? The level of skills he had, insane. On the other wing, I'm going to put Trevor Sinclair.
Yep.
I
tricky
think
Trev.
Yeah, tricky Trev, reliable, good bit of pace. Will come back and help out defensively, but also can put a good ball in as well. He can put a good ball in, and that's what we want in this game.
Yeah, certainly we do, man. Yeah, Tricky Trev. Yeah. God bless him. Good old Tricky Trev, and put him in. Right, so we got. This is a lovely looking team, I must say. Right, so who's next?
Up front, so Mr. Tevez,
Carlitos Tevez.
Come on. Another one who was short-lived, but he brought us some joy for the couple of seasons.
Do you know what he was? I mean, I can't remember how many games he played for us, but he wasn't a lot, and he's become this cult hero and of what and actually for the first few games he was quite crap. He wasn't crap, but he was like trying to do everything.
He took ages to score his first goal. I can't remember who it was. He scored his first goal against. I remember him ripping his shirt off and then just jumping into the crowd. Yeah. And I was like, oh, yes, this is it. This is going to start it off. And he was, after that, he was just brilliant, on fire.
Brilliant player. And he still loves the club.
Yeah.
We had him back at the stadium in last season. Last season he came back and he just went. And they said he doesn't speak in English, and okay, no probs. And I think he did a "Come on, you irons" or something like that. But it was like, because that's the thing now. It's not necessarily when you sign a player whether when they got the shirt. It's when they do the video on the Twitter feed of "Come on, you irons," and it's like no one can really say it quite right. It's always like it must be quite a weird thing to say for a foreign-based player to say that word. They can't just say "Come on, you irons" well enough.
I saw one of the Irons, one of our foreign-based players singing, West Ham are massive everywhere.
Yeah, it was Pablo. It's all four now, wasn't it? Yeah, the fornicator.
Hilarious.
But we had that before. We had it was at the Player Awards, and it was Cheku Kiarte singing "We've Got Payet," and it was like, and he was like quite drunkenly, and it was like, I love it. That was the thing. My daughter, that was the first chance she learned. Yeah, and then Arsenal nicked it with Ozil, didn't they? Everyone nicks our chance.
technically
Right.
are, didn't they? And then finally, I mean, come on, he has to be in there. Mr. DiCanio.
Jonathan Clary. What? Sorry? Oh, DiCanio.
You naughty boy. No, it's Paolo.
Yeah. What a boy. What a boy, man.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
phenomenal player. And where I think, where I think for me, I mean Payet and DiCanio were both actually, and Joe Coles as well was in my team, and Rio. But for me, it was always I appreciated Payet's skill, but for me, DiCanio was a better player because he had that sort of foreign, Italian flair. Do you know what I mean? He was like, there's certain types of players who,
Cantona, like a Cantona.
Yeah, exactly.
Himself, innit? Yeah.
Exactly what that is, and I think with DiCanio, it was exactly the same. He had that, and the way I see, it's like a Venn diagram, so to speak. So you've got like West Ham fans players are either going to be Trevor Brooking type players, fantastically skillful, don't put it about a bit, it's all about the skill, or they're Billy Bonds type players where they put a foot in.
Action, yeah.
And then when you get someone in the middle, like DiCanio, who was terribly skillful but could put a foot in, or maybe threw a strop and was a little bit different, that's when they become sort of upper echelon players in terms of West Ham sort of greatness, really. And so, I loved him.
Push a referee over, wasn't it that famous week?
If we didn't push him over, we wouldn't have got him. We wouldn't have got him, man, because then Harry wouldn't have signed him, and he pulled Paul Alcock. Paul Alcock it was.
Okay.
So,
Well, I mean, it was a rubbish fall. I mean, when you look back at it, you're like, come on, ref. Come on, you're having a laugh, mate.
Oh, I love it, man. And I tell you what, that's a good side.
Do you like that?
I like that. That would entertain the fans. No Allardyce football with that lot.
I mean, you're not hoofing it with that, are you? I mean,
the ball is on the ground.
I'm looking at goals, box to box. Also controversy. There's going to be some controversy in that team, isn't there?
You've got to have a little bit, don't you? Football's Football's too boring now. Football's too.
And like, it's a nice team, but I reckon they could still put their foot in if they need to in that team.
Yeah. Rice is getting a lot of bookings at the moment. So because he's
bookings.
Yeah. So right, and then DiCanio will put it in Tevez. Yeah, you don't want to cross him on a bad day, and Kurt as well. He can put it about a bit. No, I like it, man. Right, one more question, because I always have this, because there's always this. One question maybe more. Are you a pie mash? Are you a pie mash person?
Yeah, mate. I used to go to the what was it? It was I forget the name of the pie mash shop in Queen's Market. Pie mash and liquor. I'm all over it. Over it.
It's quite funny when you interview the forum. We had Igor Stimac on, and we asked him. He was like, "I had it once, never again."
Come on,
bless him.
Cuisine, mate. It's different, isn't it?
Well, so yeah, a Croatian dinner must be even nicer. Yeah,
but he was over there. Yeah, God.
Right.
I don't know, but when the look of pie and mash, I'm guessing for foreign-based players is probably, especially when you add the liquor on it, they're like, "What is this?"
Yeah, exactly.
What's going on? But then once you eat it, it's a little slice of heaven. Lovely night, a lovely pie.
Always have to have a pie and mash question in all our shows. It always gets asked.
Crust on it, yeah, it's great.
I've only had it once in my life. Pie mash.
No, growing up in Upton Park, I had it all the time.
Yeah, fair play, man. Gates's asked another question about Paralympics and the Olympics. Obviously, you've been busy doing the Commonwealths and and obviously the Commonwealths they would sort of join together. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I've had this question asked a lot, and I think for the Commonwealths they kind of work because the Commonwealths, no disrespect to it, I think it's a fantastic event. Slightly gutted. They only just put basketball in it, and it's 3-on-3. So I never ever really got to play it. But I think when you look at an Olympics and a Paralympics, logistically, it would be an absolute nightmare. The Olympics, you've got something like 7,000 athletes. You put on the support staff to that, you've probably got around 10,000 people there. Paralympics, I think it's 5,000 athletes. Add the support staff, takes it up to 8,000. So you're looking at like 18,000 people, and then that suddenly limits which countries will be able to take it. Or what they would then have to do is they'd start having to get rid of some sports. And I think because the Paralympics has got the slightly lower profile, it'd be the Paralympics that would suffer. They'd end up taking sports out of the Paralympics to make it work. And I just don't think it would do it justice. And I think right now they've got too big. They got too big. Maybe this was suggested 20 years ago, 30 years ago, when the Paralympics were smaller, I think it could work. But now I think the Paralympics is getting so big that it would be difficult. It just costs an absolute fortune. And I love sport like the best of them, but it would probably last 4 months. And it'd be on 24 hours a day to get all the sports things,
And it seems it's been this sort of summer, isn't it? Because you had like the Worlds, and then you had the Commonwealth straight after as well. It was like, some people couldn't break.
Yeah, but I think it's nice to have it in the Commonwealths. It's nice to have an event that specifically does that. So I think leaving it when the Commonwealths is good because it works there. But with the Olympics and Paralympics, I think at the moment,
bit too much, bit too much. And lastly, a lovely comment from Hammerhead. Oh my God, what a legend! I imagine he's talking about you, Ade, rather than myself. But I grew up watching Ade on the kids' TV channels. Oh, I never knew he was a hammer. Of course, he's a hammer.
Yeah.
Born and bred. When he, from 1980, from the FA Cup final. But yeah. There we go, man. That's it, innit, boy? Right, listen, man. Thank you so much, buddy. You better get some sleep in case the little man decides he wants to wake up.
Russ, it was an absolute pleasure, mate. Thank you, and maybe I'll see you at the Grand at some point.
Defo, man, defo. Because my box is right by the disabled thing, so there's a few guys I see right regularly.
Throwing down aeroplanes at us and stuff.
Yeah, that's me. Just throwing like Haribo. Yeah, exactly. No, I don't want the fried eggs. Shit. Anyway, mate, God, I'll kick you out today to leave, man. Cheers, buddy. Thank you so much, buds.
Cheers,
Come you irons. Cheers, guys. Take care. Irons, Eddie. Take care, man. That was Ade, top man. What a lovely man. Thank you very much, everyone. Loads of chat as always. Loads of questions as always. Thank you so much. What a lovely man. As I said, we try and do these every week. October's going to be a little bit quieter on the interview side because there's so many games being played. But we'll try and Deadly Don's coming back on for a part 2 as well, and we've got a few others in the pipeline. Just trying to get sign-offs from various clubs because a couple of them are still playing for their clubs, so they've got all that type of stuff. Right, peeps, as I said, tomorrow Anton will be doing the daily show. We'll also have in the morning, we'll have the 9 o'clock show. We'll have Your 11, so the West Ham Network Community 11 for the Anderlecht game. We'll have a daily show, which will be the preview. I believe so. The preview for the Anderlecht game will be on 12:30 with Anton and his dad talking about, different generations. I love it. Hammer's headlines, I think it's the press conference, and then we get on to Thursday where we'll have Stat Attack in the morning. We'll have lunchtime live as always, or match day lunchtime, and then we get ready for the game. So we'll have Harry's quick preview, we'll have the watch along, and then we'll have hopefully some review shows on a win, and then get ready for Fulham to do it all again. It's crazy. It's a crazy time. But anyway, thank you so much. If you're new around here, where the hell have you been? Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the bell notification so you don't miss any content we have coming up. There's plenty of it. And until next time, my friends, thank you very, very much for joining me. I appreciate it. And obviously, Ade as well. Top boy, as you can imagine. Lovely guy. And as always, we'd like to thank all our channel members at the end of each of our shows. So thank you. God bless. Sweet dreams. And see you when we see you. Bye-bye.
stays the same. Once you let it change. It's like a family tree.